Next fight on the card, we've got a light heavyweight fight between Gadzhimurad Antigulov taking on Maxim Grishin. Now, Maxim Grishin is a name that I am very familiar with. I came up with the angle when UFC went to Fight Island for the very first time, and man, I got to tell you, it's the most profitable sports betting, MMA sports betting angle I've ever seen in my life. But it's about this wide in its margin. You have to have about 5 factors be exactly perfect for it, but it's completely undefeated. When we saw a ton of COVID cancellations, short notice fights, you've got people who are making their UFC debut up a weight class against an opponent who has been struggling against the top level of competition. They're getting just a big step down from facing top tier competition to fighting a UFC debutant. Like I said, on short notice, different weight class. Those fighters were crushing. So Marcin Tybura, Tyson Nam, we had Tisha Torres. There were just so many spots like that where only in those exact parameters it was an undefeated angle, and unfortunately there haven't been as many spots for me to attack it recently. The UFC has figured their shit out way too much. There aren't as many late cancellations up a fight up a weight class like that. And then the other thing is, obviously I was looking for a playable line like minus 125, even slight dog money plus 120, something like that. If you're talking about a minus 300 favorite, it's probably still going to hit, but I'm not playing it. So Maxim Grishin, honestly, he didn't have a chance really to show much of anything in that short notice fight against Marcin Tybura. I think he's a lot better than that fight showed. He's a big, long dude for 205 pounds. He's got good power from short range, nice body kicks, heavy ground and pound, and he's going to be huge in this fight, man. He's got an 8-inch reach advantage. And Antigulov, the record says he's 33 years old, but this is one of those Russian dudes that I wouldn't be surprised if that birth certificate was forged and he was 67 or something. He's a worn 33 years old. I'm 33 years old. And just a wrestling submission machine, you know what I mean? Absolute awful gas tank, coming off of 3 first-round losses. I feel like the writing's on the wall here. I think the UFC is looking to get Maxim a win.
I absolutely agree. However, I am pro Gulov here. And I'm going to say that only in the fact that I like betting the unders in his fights. Yeah, I mean, this guy, 24 out of 27 fights, the under 1.5 is hit. 24 out of 27. And that one out of those 3 as well, missed by 10 seconds. Wow. Maxim Grishin finished 21 of 30 fights, 30 victories. You know what I mean? So he has a finishing, like more recently, you'll see him winning by decision. But when you're fighting a guy like Gadzhimurad Antigulov, who just goes out there and just knows he has like 3 minutes of gas, like he just got up off of his couch and just hopped into the cage. This guy doesn't seem like he hits a treadmill. Doesn't seem like he hits the bike. Nothing like that. Like Chris Delkis was on there doing miles. This guy's doing nothing. He's doing the complete opposite, whatever that is. Because he goes out there, he bursts for 3 minutes trying to get his guy to the ground. If he's able to get his guy to the ground, he's able to, let off some ground and pound, some good heavy shots. But if he doesn't get the finish and his opponent gets back to his feet, this guy looks like an old man. Like he looks like 67 years old, like you're saying. His gas tank is horrible. You know what I mean? So with Maxim Grishin, we didn't get to see his complete game in that fight with Marcin Tybura, but the small things that we did see made me quite confident in him. He does have solid takedown defense. We did see Marcin Tybura get him down like late in the first round and then later in the second round and even in the third round. But you're talking about a guy that had like 40 pounds on him or something, right? It was like 30 or 40 pounds that he had on him at that point. So for me, it's not really picking his side because, I do agree that there's too much juice on Grishin here. But the under 1.5, I just saw them release on Pinnacle at plus 105. That is a steal if I've ever fucking seen one. So I would, we got to wait for the limits to open up in that one. But once that opens up, I'm sure we'll still get it around like minus 130 or something like that once the money comes in. But I still think there's a ton of value on that, not to mention the statistics that I give you at the top of this breakdown. I love the under 1.5, and more than likely it's going to be my lock of the night play. I'm going to give it to you right now, but I love that play. I love the shitty gas tank of Antigulov because it's either him getting the finish or him getting finished. I think it's going to be Grishin getting the late first round finish, but the under 1.5 is definitely the play here.
Dude, that's a great look. That is a great look. Now, that's something that I actually, maybe it's a flaw in my capping, but with my deal here with Odds HQ, I do a show later on in the week, Total Madness. I go back over the card and I look at the overs and the unders based on the lines at that point in time. So when I'm doing this show, I don't always look at the totals quite as closely. That is such a solid spot, and that's such a solid read. I absolutely love that because Grisham is nowhere near worth a minus 400 price tag. You don't lay that kind of chalk on bum fights. And you're right, Antigulov is a killer be killed type of fighter. If you can get anywhere near that even money mark, even if we're laying minus 140 or minus 135 on an under 1.5, I love that spot, and I'll likely be on that play with you this weekend because, yeah, Antigulov has about 2 minutes of effort in him.
And we're being generous.
Antigulov round one might have a decent bit of value though at that giant underdog line if people are looking for a.
I think it was plus 600 for round one Antigulov. If you're going to bet Antigulov at all, that's the line that you hit.
Yeah. You know, man, and actually, I do want to say something real quick here. So I love that you and I finally get to talk about this stuff because we have very different approaches to betting. On my show, the L word is a word we don't use. Now, you have it in the title of your show. I'm more of a dog hunter. I'm looking for those plus lines. You have no problem laying the chalk. Tell the people a little bit about your betting philosophy.
Honestly, when I started this thing, it was for me. It was like, okay, let's. I know a lot of people look at betting the number and not the fighter because that's pretty much gambling 101. But for me, I wanted to go into this and look like, okay, who has the best shot of winning on this card and who has the best shot at the best odds. I don't care if it's a chalk up to minus 350 because you still need to hit out roughly about 70% of the time to be able to be in the green. I've had some stumbles. I've had some trials and tribulations and all that stuff. But the one thing that I know for sure is that I'm pretty good at spotting these chalky spots. Like even if you look at my Bet MMA profile, my bigger dogs are hitting at 85, 88%. You know what I mean? So I know where it's worth laying the chalk down. And I know a lot of people hate that word luck. And I love how everybody gets so like taboo about it. And that, for me, it's a part of the fun of it. Like, I love rubbing people the wrong way like that. I love it. It makes me laugh. It's just a freaking word, right? That's
for sure.
That's what it is to me. And I love the branding that I'm able to do behind it and stuff. And that's one thing that I like to focus on too. I mean, like one thing is capping fights, and another thing is being able to market yourself if you want to be successful. So with the slogan and this brand that I have of MMALOTN, people are loving it. You know what I mean? It's slowly growing, continuing to rack up the followers, subscribers, and views and all that stuff. But the main philosophy behind the Lock of the Night thing is just to find the best value you can at the surest percentage that I have in my mind. So sure. If you look at earlier in my betting record too, it's more so I was just aiming for that one shot, but now it's slowly evolved into finding value in the card. The dog of the night, I introduced that like early last year. You know what I mean? I'm looking for the best dog that I can find on the card, but now I'm just trying to diversify as much as possible. But I love it, man. The comments and the people and everybody hitting us up. I love it. I enjoy it. So as long as people are enjoying it, I'm enjoying it.
It's so funny, man, because then that's, with my thing, I'm a spread player. Like, I imagine Terminator 2, I am Schwarzenegger on top of the building with the minigun, like rapid firing every shot on the card I can find. So people come to me and they're like, "What's the lock, man?" And I'm like, "No such thing." Like I'm playing even across the board. I'm gonna fire off 8 different shots. Win more than I lose. That's the goal.
Yeah, for sure. No, I completely understand that. But for me, it's more so just for me, it was just finding that one spot. You know, lay a solid amount on this, and hopefully you're good for the night. But again, it's diversifying. It's getting more of a variety now, and it's awesome. It's working out for me.
It's good stuff, man. I love it. I want to shout out the chat here. We got a lot of people engaging with us. Absolutely love it. 365 live viewers. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. This is Odds HQ. Head on over to odds.com. I write articles for them as well. Do us a favor, hit the like button here, and make sure you follow my guy over at MMALOTN on Twitter. He's spending some time with us this evening, and we're going to try and put some money in your pockets.